friends, welcome to Super Sunita's Happy World channel. Today I'm going to narrate one of the best short stories written by Mrs. Sudha Murthy. The title of the story is Sweet Hospitality. The story goes like this, friends. Some years ago, my friend Suman came from the US to stay with me for a month. She had been living abroad for nearly 25 years. All her relatives and friends are in Bangalore and Dharwad. And the purpose of her visit was to catch up with all her friends. She had grown-up children who were not interested in visiting India, but she had the freedom to spend as much time as she wanted in her country. She still felt strongly about having her roots in India, perhaps more so because she had been away for so long. Suman is very conscious of her health and is always trying to keep her weight under control. Since she has a history of blood sugar and hypertension in her family. When I went to the US, I stayed with her once and saw her way of living. She diets, exercises, walks and meditates. She spends perhaps up to 4 hours a day on her fitness regime. When we were in school together, she was on the plumper side and used to love eating sweets. Now she hardly touches them. Knowing her love for them, I can understand the great effort she must be making to abstain from them. Once I asked her how she managed to do it. She replied sadly, "It is so difficult, but I practice it. Sometimes I feel like having sweets, which is why we don't keep any in the house." When Suman was staying with me, I accompanied her on some of her visits to the houses of friends and relatives. In India, a guest is supposed to be treated like God. Traditionally, the best of everything is put aside for the guest. People will go out of their way to make the guest happy. I have noticed that this is more so in the small towns and villages. Once I went with Suman to our friend Jaya's house. Jaya was not keeping well, but had gone to great efforts to prepare many eatables for us. As soon as we arrived, she disappeared into the kitchen and reappeared after a while bearing 2 tall copper glasses and 2 plates of sweets. They were all traditional homemade sweets, and I could see the copious quantities of ghee and sugar oozing out of them. Jaya was serving us with great warmth, and it was getting awkward to say no. In such situations, it is expected that the guest should finish all that has been put on the plate. In fact, it can be perceived to be an insult if food is left uneaten by the guest. Suman was, of course, quite upset to see all the sweets being served. She could not afford to abandon her diet, though it may be easy to stay off the food one has not seen in years. As soon as one is face to face with it, the food becomes irresistible. Temptation and Jaya's coaxing got the better of her, and Suman ended up eating all the sweets. By the time we finished those, Jaya arrived bearing a second round of sweets. "You must drink this paisa," she said, putting before us bowls filled to the brim with creamy, appley paisa. "It took me most of the afternoon to prepare this, and I made it just for you." This time, Suman was stronger and refused strictly. Since I was not on a diet, I finished my bowl, enjoyed it immensely. It was indeed very good. Jaya was quite upset that Suman had refused the paisa. "Come on, Suman, please have it. We are not as well off as you are now, but I prepared it with a lot of love. You will never get this in the US. Now that you're in India, you must forget your diet. Get back to it when you return home." By now, Suman was in tears. Seeing her state, I told Jaya, "Don't insist so much. You must have made everything with a lot of affection. but let her decide what she wants to eat. Jaya was unhappy that I had spoken for Suman. If I insist she will have it, this is supposed to be good for health. I knew your grandfather, Suman, and he used to love this paisa. He was a friend of my grandfather's and I remember him well. He was as thin as a stick, even though he used to eat everything, including sweets, and never dieted in his life. That is true. But my grandfather lived in a village and used to work in the paddy fields. He used to walk 10 miles a day. That would have burned up all the calories he had. My grandmother used to walk to the well and fetch water even in her old age. Theirs was a different way of life. Our pattern of living has changed completely. Please understand. Our visit to Jaya's house ended on a sad note. And as Suman went visiting from house to house, the same story was repeated. At the end of her stay, Suman showed me the reading on the weighing scale. She had put on 5 kgs. She left India full of worries about how it would affect her health and not the happy memories she had expected to take back with her. Her parting words got me thinking. She said, "People do not understand that hospitality does not mean serving rich food and large helpings. In all the houses I visited, they were upset that I refused to eat so much. For them it was a courtesy, but for me it is like poison." When I went to Delhi, I attended a wedding where they had a separate section with sugarless food. I thought it was so considerate of the hosts. Nowadays, everyone is conscious of one's health and wants to eat healthy food. For me, some kinds of food are silent killers and I have to avoid them. I wish my friends had understood this and not taken offense. I listened to Suman and felt sad. She was correct. Hospitality means making a person feel at home, allowing her to relax, and sharing whatever we have without making anyone uncomfortable. But we seem to have forgotten that. For us, hospitality means preparing masses of food and piling up the guest plate with it, and if she refuses, we get annoyed and jump to the conclusions. As I waved goodbye to Suman, I could only wish that Indian hospitality did not remind her always of a plate of sweets. So friends, I hope this story brings us some memories. All of us might have faced this incident once in our life. And it's something related to, maybe our memories associated with guests when we visit our friends or relatives in distant places. Once in a while, all of us might have been associated with such incidents. And I think it will also help us to reconsider the idea of hospitality. With this in mind, I say bye to you in this video. I'll get back to you with another short story of Sudha Murthy, which will bring us definitely some lessons, which will throw some insights into the life, and it helps us to think of life in a different way. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends and relatives. Thank you.